Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. Last week I shared a letter of a Chassid that wrote to the Rabbi. He gave the letter to Rabbi Mindel because this is a personal story that he wanted to tell, and he wanted that this should be written up in a magazine, and in Kvar Chabad, or in Algemeiner, or in Talks and Tales. So he sent it to Rabbi Mindel. He was the author. And I mentioned last week that there are many letters that were sent straight to Rabbi Mindel, people that told the Rabbi personal stories, and they wanted that this should be printed. And so I said that in the future I will mention some stories. But since today we're now in a different situation, we're in the middle of a war, Milchama, so I wanted to, I'll do that some other time. So I just want to mention something about the Milchama. These past 4 weeks have been tragic, confusing, and difficult times to us and to the entire Yiddish world. About 1,500 of our brothers and sisters, Yidden, were brutally massacred in Eretz Yisrael on Simchas Torah, on the happiest day of the year, near the border of Gaza, and many were captured and are still held in captivity. The hate and the violence and the poison coming from the enemies, not limited to Eretz Yisrael, not that they want Eretz Yisrael, the land, or not because they want a freedom or they want equality. That's not the reason now. The reason now is Poshet anti-Semitism, is something that is different than the other times. Poshet, they want to kill a Jew, and all the rallies that we have in the entire world, all over. This is something that I don't remember in my lifetime. I don't remember such things. Poshet, to kill Esav, Son of Yaakov. So now we're in a different situation as the other Milchamas. The same happened in our most recent history, almost 80 years ago. It was planned by Molech, Haman, and Yimach Shmoi, Hitler, Yimach Shmoi v'Zichrei. And this is why we're experiencing today a war that's different than Yom Kippur War, different than the 6-Day War, different than Lebanon War, and different than Entebbe, what happened there. Today we live in a different time. It's like the Holocaust. Soine Yisrael, Sinas Yisrael, just because you're a Yid. So I feel that that we need more spiritual ammunition than what we already collected. As we said in our previous programs, that the Rebbe told us exactly after the Yom Kippur War about Olim v'Yonkim, what we have to do. So we knew what we have to do. By the war of 6-Day War, he told us about the putting on film then, and this is what saved our soldiers then. He was speaking about Torah mitzvahs, about giving tzedakah, and we knew we had a direction what we have to do. This time today we are living through extraordinary and unusual times. So our effort has to be extraordinary also. So what the Rebbe told us then, we know, and we have to do it today also. But there is something more today, because we didn't have then what we have today. So I was wondering, what would the Rebbe say today? And people want to know, everybody's bringing up reasons, what should we do? Of course we have to do what the Rebbe said then, but there is probably something more we have to do. I'm sure that the Rebbe would remind us of the Frierdiker Rebbe, because he went through the Holocaust. The Frierdiker Rebbe, the Rebbe Rayatz, was the Rebbe at the time of the Holocaust in the 40s. And I got calls last week that many people asked me that maybe Rabbi Mindel, he was with the Frierdiker Rebbe at the Holocaust. He was there, as we spoke many times, 1939 in Europe and in America, 1940, 41, 42, 43, 44, till the end he was with the Rebbe, he and Rabbi Chadakov. And he wrote everything down. So people want to know, what would the Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, say, or what did he say? Something special, because we're going through the same type of Holocaust. So I would like to share with you some things that he wrote, and some things that we all know. He wrote it maybe more in detail, but that we know what the Frierdiker Rebbe did at the time of the Holocaust, what he told us to do. So we'll be able to learn a lesson, and I'm sure the Rebbe would have also, I guess, say the same thing, I guess. The main focus of the Frierdiker Rebbe during the Second World War, when the Nazis were carrying out the evil plans, so his main focus, he started with tshuva. Le'alter le'geula, le'alter le'tshuva. People should do tshuva. And I don't know if many of you know, many of you heard, maybe a lot of you probably did know, there's Hakriya v'Hakdusha. This is a book from 1941 till 1945. Every week used to go out a magazine. It's called Hakriya v'Hakdusha. I have the original copy, but I don't have it here. This is the new copy, but I have the one from then that Rabbi Mindel had. And here it's written a lot of things, that the names, some of the things the Rebbe wrote, but the Rebbe did not write his name. And some things comes from Rabbi Mindel, but he didn't want to put his name on, so he had other names. But this is the Hakriya v'Hakdusha, that this came out then about the whole, this was the time of tshuva, l'alter l'geula, l'alter l'tshuva. So this is the book of the magazine, Hakriya v'Hakdusha, and I think it's important for people just to read it in what happened in time of the Holocaust. Also, the Frierdiker Rebbe was very strong. He was storming that time Mishnayis Baal Peh. This was something what the Frierdiker Rebbe in Yiddish we say Otzar gekocht in Mishnayis Baal Peh. And he wrote in Hayom Yom, I want to read over here a paragraph of the Hayom Yom that the Frierdiker Rebbe wrote about Mishnayis Baal Peh. And he writes like this. This what he said about Mishnayis Baal Peh, which is included in the Hayom Yom that we learn every single day. And I'll read the words. This world needs to have its air purified, And this can be accomplished only through letters of the Torah that one recites. These letters afford both universal and individual protection. The division of the 6 orders of the Mishnah to be studied by heart fulfills the mandate to study Torah while you walk on your way. Every single Mishnah that a person reviews from memory, wherever he may be, lights up the connection between the Jewish people and God. The word Mishnah shares the same letters as neshama, soul. So this is what the Frierdiker Rebbe was then, was gekocht in Mishnayis Baal Peh. Talking about Mishnayis Baal Peh, I remember my Zayde, who was the Rebbe's teacher, Rebbe's Malamed, he always, every minute, but he was Mishnayis Baal Peh, and he said that this is mitayr, this purifies the air. He said, I remember that he used to eat, used to eat fish, then between fish and soup, he sang a niggin. And what did he do? Till my mother gave the soup, Mishnayis Baal Peh. Everywhere he went, Mishnayis Baal Peh. I mean, he was a gon, he learned Torah, he was a gon, he knew a lot of Maimorim, but the Ike by him was Mishnayis Baal Peh, he says, because this is Metayr, the Avir Ha'olam. My Zayde was, he said then, that after 120 years, it says in Tanya, about kafakela, about punishments, that by learning Mishnayis Baal Peh, this takes away this Eidish. Anyways, so Mishnayis Baal Peh is something that helps, and also helps for the people that died al Kiddush Hashem in the war. The Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, also writes about Mishnayis Baal Peh in Yom Yom, that when a person walks and he has Torah, I think it's a Mishnayis Baal Peh by heart. If he doesn't have Mishnayis Baal Peh, if he doesn't have anything in his mind, the ground, the earth screams, and it says Bulach Heiner. Bulach means bum. What right do you have to step on me? When you have Mishnayis Baal Peh, when you learn and you have it in your head, so then you are higher than me, you are greater than me, you can step on me. But when you have nothing, no Mishnah, no Torah in you, so what right do you have to step on me? So the Mishnayis Baal Peh was something at the time of the war, so the Frierdiker Rebbe, this was his zach to be me'orer Mishnayis Baal Peh. Also, Shmira Shabbos. He was encouraging very much the Yidden to keep Shabbos. The Frierdiker Rebbe had geschrien that Shabbos, by him, those days it was very hard to keep Shabbos, very hard to keep Shabbos. I mean, we spoke about it in our programs. But Shmira Shabbos was something that the Frierdiker Rebbe was constantly geschrien, vibers, when women walk with pocketbooks on Shabbos, they carry on Shabbos, mitonish trogen Shabbos, yikir Shmira Shabbos. So we should strengthen the union for Shmira Shabbos. I think we should strengthen the union of going in a car on Shabbos. Some people don't, if they come to shul on Shabbos, at least some people don't even know that you're not allowed to go into a car on Shabbos. And it's not even spoken about at all. This is Chil Shabbos. I think we should strengthen the Chil Shabbos. Now, talking about Shabbos, it reminds me of Abaisa, Rabbi Chadakov, Olav Shalom, in the beginning, before he moved to Crown Heights, the Hasidim, Lubavitch used to live in Bronzeville. Rabbi Chadakov, Rabbi Mentlik, I think Rabbi Jacobson, they used to live to walk from Bronzeville to 770, about a half an hour. So they lived there, and this was right after the war. This was, I think, in the early 50s or early 50s, late 40s, I'm not sure. So a lot of people, there was Bronzeville used to be called the Yerushalayim of America. A lot of Eden lived there. So there's a street, Pitkin Avenue. Remember, Pitkin Avenue. So all the stores were closed. They're all closed because the Yidden, they wanted to close the stores at Shabbos, and they knew it's the Frum area. One person said, no. What God did to us at the war, I'm not going to close the store. I'm going to show that I'm open. So he's the only one open. So Rabbi Chadakov, going from Shul, he passed by the store, he passed by the street, and he always used to look in and look what's doing in the store. I don't know why. He always looks to stop and look in. One Shabbos, he stopped and he looked. The storekeeper, the man, was sitting there, and he didn't like it. He knew that he has to be closed on Shabbos, but he bedavka special didn't close the store on Shabbos. So Rabbi Chadakov was looking and looking and looking and looking, and he didn't leave. I don't know, he didn't leave. And the man was so angry. So he opened the door and he says to Rabbi Chadakov, please go. Okay, I'm going to close my store on Shabbos. Leave me alone, I'll close my store. And he became a Shomer Shabbos. So this is, the Ma'aseh Shabbos, those days Shabbos was something. So this is something that the Rebbe, also Mesibah Shabbos. The Mesibah Shabbos was, that I think the Rebbe was very much involved. That we should have Mesibah Shabbos, was under Merkez L'Inyan Chinuch. And I think the Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, as far as in the notes of my Rabbi Mindel, the Frierdiker Rebbe asked the Rebbe, the Ramash, he was then the Ramash, that he should be involved in the Mesibah Shabbos. Maybe he once even spoke to the children of Mesibah Shabbos. So that's something that happened in the time of the Holocaust. Now, I also found a letter here, and you can read a letter, that the Gerer Rebbe, Avram Mordechai Alter, Zechrein Tzadik Levrocha, the Gerer Rebbe's, I guess, grandfather of the Gerer Rebbe, in Poland, he wrote a letter to the Frierdiker Rebbe, to the Rebbe Rayatz Shlita, it's a Schneerson. This is in Hebrew. So he wrote over here, at the time of the war, he says, he wrote about I'll read it more or less over in English, I'll say, about the great importance of an authentic Jewish education. It goes hand in hand, he writes, that not only do we find ourselves in the middle of a military war, he writes, World War II, we are also in a spiritual war for the preservation of Yahadus Yiddishkeit. In Warsaw, Poland, we established an Orthodox committee whose goal is to preserve and protect all matters of Torah and mitzvahs and Yahadus to the utmost and with strength. The Frierdiker Rebbe did not answer this letter. I don't think he answered this letter. I think he wanted that the Frierdiker Rebbe should also participate, I think, in Aguda then, but I didn't see anything with the Frierdiker Rebbe. But during that year, those years, the Frierdiker Rebbe stormed very much about chinuch to all spiritual leaders. And our Rebbe, the Ramash, was very much involved in, they wrote a letter to Rav Herzog. He was the chief rabbi of the Palestine, then Eretz Yisrael. So, and this is the handwriting of the Rebbe. This is the handwriting of the Rebbe and the Frierdiker Rebbe on the same page. The Frierdiker Rebbe wrote to all Rabbonim and everything about chinuch, how to strengthen chinuch. Also the Yaldi Taharan. There was the Yaldi Taharan over there. This was that time that the Rebbe was very, very much involved in chinuch. Then this is to strengthen. This was the time of the milchama. What I'm saying is that this is what the Frierdiker Rebbe did, and also we know Tehillim, that the Frierdiker Rebbe established that we should say every single day Tehillim. Besides what established, this was in the early before Shabbos Mevarchim. Also the Tehillim, the Tehillim of every day. Now, there's one more thing that I want to mention, is the Frierdiker Rebbe participated. We all know about the march of 500 rabbis. This was in the middle of the war, that they marched to Washington, D.C. to see President Roosevelt. The Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, sent a delegation then also, and he was very much interested in this, they should participate in as far as helping the Yidden, Pasha Begashmit, what happened in the, I think it was 1943, I think it was 43, 42, 43, but I'm not sure. So he sent Rabbi Nissim Mindel, he sent Rabbi Binyamin Levitin, he sent Rabbi Quint, and Rabbi Zalman Gerari. And he asked Rabbi Mindel, when he comes back, he should go into him, and he wants to hear 100% report. This was 3-4 days before Yom HaKodesh, before Yom HaKippurim. And Rabbi Silver, Olav HaSholem, he spoke, he cried, he begged, he was speaking outside, and that they to do something about it. And they were ready to go into President Roosevelt, but unfortunately, when I don't want to say names, they told President Roosevelt that this delegation is not important. It's not important for you to go out. But since they're outside, so he walked out from the back door, and he did not see them. And this was the problem. Now I heard today that our President Biden, when he spoke, there was somebody stood up and he said that we should have a ceasefire, and the same thing, and he shouldn't. And this was also a this unfortunately happened to be a Jew, and that also happened to be a Reform rabbi that told President Roosevelt that he should not see the Yidden. But anyways, so the Frierdiker Rebbe was very, very much disappointed then, but he put a lot of keiches. He had a lot of agmas nefesh then that this happened, but he put a lot of keiches then. Here I have some pictures. I showed you pictures. This is Rabbi Silver going to the march of 500 rabbis. This is all. I think I shared this with you many times. I mean, these are pictures from the Rabbi Mindel had that he took over there, and then this was here also. The Buyana Rebbe came, Rabbi Silver. Here we have, before they left, this is Rabbi Rashak, Rabbi Gerari, and Rabbi Kazanovsky, and we're speaking to Rabbi Silver. That they were very much, the Frierdiker Rebbe was very much into it, that the Buyana Rebbe was, anyways. So these are the things that happened then, that Rabbi Mindel wrote down. So since we are facing today a war against Yidden, and not only against Eretz Yisrael, but this is we see in demonstrations all over the world. So we should increase, besides what the Rebbe said we should do. We should increase. We see what the Frierdiker Rebbe said at the time of the Holocaust, that we should say Tillim, we should do Mishnayos Baal Peh, and we should Taras HaMishpacha and Shmira Shabbos, and through this merit that we united our efforts, we should increase. We'll agree to the mitzvahs, so we should get rid of our enemy, and the Rabbi should give us a bracha that we should get rid of the enemies now, and we should bring Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mheira v'yameinu speedily in our days. And in Mitzvah Hashem next week we'll go back to our regular program. Thank you.